That's a question is something I've thought about, because it's not an easy answer to say which am I aware of the audience, because on one level I'm in my own world when you play music, but yet the audience is important. So it's often, because often the idea of audience, musicians often talk in terms of the metaphor of communication with the audience, and you're communicating with the audience, and there's some truth to that, but I also think that it only goes so far, because it's not. There is a certain amount of communication. I think the best way to think of it is thinking of an actor on stage in a play. When you're seeing a great actor do Shakespeare, is he communicating with you in the audience? Do you want him to communicate with you in the audience? You don't really want him to suddenly turn to the audience, and unless it's called for, House of Cards style, where he turns and talks. It would be disconcerting. So what is it? What kind of communication is going on between an actor? Because when you watch, you want to be completely drawn in to the story that's being told on stage as an audience member, and the same thing is with music. Instead of a play, it's a Beethoven sonata. Is Beethoven's created this incredible world that the artists are taking you into and drawing you into, and I see the role of an artist is bringing people in rather than throwing something out at them. And I think that simple difference is a big difference. And my teacher, Gingold, also, his way of playing, he was very intimate. When you heard him play, you felt like you were being drawn in. And for him, playing as loudly as possible and projecting was not always his focus. It was more about nuance and bringing people in. And that's sort of the way I like to think of music.
Do you think that there's an audience disconnect in terms of perception of a performer visually and through sound? For example, with Heifetz, there are many musical colleagues of mine who perceive him to be a cold musician, but for me, if you look at a photo of Heifetz, you see an elegant, austere man. If you close your eyes, you hear passion and warmth. Do you think that this disconnect could account for some of the divides on the Heifetz legacy?
Well, first of all, Heifetz did pretty well in his career. He didn't suffer. He didn't really suffer from too much. I mean, except for nasty comments you might see on YouTube about some of his video today, which is a whole other subject, which I could start a rant on. It is interesting because Heifetz was one of my idols, and I see nothing cold about Heifetz. Just he was so efficient in the way he played the instrument. I mean, there was no unnecessary movements, and not to even put myself in the same sentence as Heifetz, but I will, just only to say that I'm so not like that. I've been accused of moving around too much, and I accuse myself of doing that too much as well. When I look at videos of myself, I think, can't I just be more efficient in the way? But in the way I play. But for me to stifle that, it ends up stifling my music making. Heifetz didn't. I mean, when he played, he was very like stone-faced but yet what comes out is this fiery passion and intensity, incredible intensity. So one of the things I work on today, though, is trying to see if I can still have all my energy and passion without moving around too much. I work on that.